All right, we're here at my outdoor worm bin, and I've talked about it being a continuous flow bin, and I'm gonna show you what I do to make that happen. So this is one of the trays of my Vermi hut, and it acts as a sifter. This is 1/4-inch holes here. So the first thing I do is I put this in a 20-gallon fabric pot. Once I have that all set up, I get into the worm bin itself. All right, so now what I do is I take what is in this worm bin, and you can see there's paper, there's cardboard, all that kind of good stuff. But mixed in there is a whole lot of castings. So I will just take handfuls and handfuls, worms and all, and I'm gonna put them in right here, this Vermi hut tray. And because I treat this as a continuous flow, I'm not worried about all this paper that's in here. There are a lot of castings. I will take some of the big stuff out and put it in here. And then what I do is I will just take this and sift it. And it leaves me all this big stuff that's in here. Some cardboard shreds, banana peels, and worms. So then I take the tray out and I'll just dump that in. Now inevitably there's gonna be some worms in here, and that's okay because they're gonna go right back in. And I might find an occasional worm or two kind of stuck. And what you see in here is pure castings, just amazing castings. There may be a little piece of cardboard or two, but that's okay because the worms can eat it in the storage container. And I've got a video for that that I'll post here that shows you what my storage container looks like and how I kind of bait worms as it's going. So I'm just gonna continue on here and continue sifting. And for this bin, this is great because I do this about once a week. Every time I feed them, I'm taking out more and more castings. So it just, once you get a bin like this, once you start it and it's been going for about, 3-4 months, you can just keep taking castings out. And this isn't a few castings, this is quite a bit. And I don't have to wait for the bin to be completely done. All I have to do is sift what I need for my garden, and then we are good to go. So again, I've just got big stuff in there. Just awesome castings. And I probably have about, I don't know, 2 pounds, 3 pounds in here. That's not bad for doing it once a week. So this is how much I have left, and that will just go right back in here. And of course, any worms I find, I'll put right back in there. And what I'm left in here, hopefully you can see pretty well, is all kinds of castings. Just marvelous, perfect castings. It's just ready to go. There may be a worm or two in here, certainly cocoons, and that's why I like to store my castings with a little bait cup. The cocoons will hatch, they'll get in the bait cup, and I check the bait cup every once in a while. But this is just absolutely fantastic castings. And I get this every week. And that's because I feed this bin a lot, and I let it go for 4 months before I ever started this. Every week, take out castings. What's left is bedding, more stuff for them to process, and the worms go right back in here. So it's a continuous flow, constantly taking castings out once a week. That's it for this part of the video, and then I'm gonna feed this in the second part. All right, I've moved everything out of the way, and here's where we dumped all the excess bedding and stuff from when we sifted. And I'm just gonna kind of go through here, and that last feeding that we gave was pretty small. Underneath this mango seed, but they're also getting into this apple core right here. Oddly, I find that apple cores last a little bit longer, and it's been 6 days since we fed last. But there's a little mini worm ball right there. You can see the yellow tips of all these red wigglers, the babies. It's so cool. One of the ways to distinguish a red wiggler. All right, we're just gonna kind of dig through this feeding space here and see how they did. Again, wow, still cabbage. What the heck? Just need to break this up. Oh, worms on me. And when I have worms on me, like this little guy, after the videos, I always check my hands to make sure that I leave all the worms in the worm bin. Again, this looks like possibly an apple. Possibly an apple here. So again, many worms. Wow, look at that. Lots of worms actually hiding in this apple. So I've got an experiment going on in my vermi hut, and this might kind of be an indicator for that about the apple versus sweet potato, or veggie versus fruit. This is the mango seed. Give a quick update on it. Now it's in 2 parts. That's gonna make it real difficult from here on out. But maybe now I'll know, okay, here's the mango seed. Make it more distinguishable, but it's getting crunchier. Some worms making a little home in there, which I've disturbed. But as long as this keeps staying wet, I think they'll keep munching down on it. I'm, again, looking to see if there's anything else. I don't know why I just put whole newspaper in here. That was kind of a mistake for me. I typically shred it. A lot of people just put it in a hole, and that's fine. But for me, I like it to be more shredded. And oh yeah, just as I had mentioned, I thought there would be a lot of worms in here, and this is that mango skin. Let me see if I open it up if they're in there. A few, and lots of mites in there. Or maybe that's mold. I think that's mold. But there's a few inside of there. But a lot of them are just kind of sitting on the outside. So this feeding didn't go quite as fast as I expected, maybe because the temperatures were lower here in the 60s and 50s than what they're used to. Lots of different various peels from bananas. Again, apple. Wow, another apple core. Unless I just picked up the same apple core, I'm not sure. I think it's a different one. But look at those worms. And these worms are actually on a banana peel. They're kind of running parallel to it right there. Just fascinating. Lots of mites on the apple too. Maybe that's it. Maybe the worms don't like to go where the mites are. But then again, they're all right here in my hand. Oh, and here's that banana peel with the worm going through it, the banana stem. Little worm making his way right in and out of it. So cool. I love this. I love this bin. It is just so forgiving. Lots of experiments. Feel lots of castings. Look at these castings. They're just the right moisture, just kind of crumble, but the same hand. They stick together, although this looks like it's something harder, maybe a pine cone. Oh, this is the pine cone. Made its way down to the bottom, which helped it stay moist and get more broken down. So there's your pine cone. I think we've done pretty good here. We're going to, wow, just at the bottom, there's so many castings, and so many worms. Peach, leaving it. Wow, this bin is fantastic. If you want an easy bin, especially if you're down south like me in Florida, you want to have it outside. These 20-gallon fabric pots are so useful for worm bins. So I'm going to set up this feeding zone. We'll add cardboard. I like to use shredded cardboard. You'll see there's some paper in here. That's fine too for me. And then we've got just a whole lot of veggies. I'm actually going to save these onions because I was watching a video from one of my YouTube channels that I watch. Evergreen Garden, I believe is what it is, and if I made a mistake, I'll write it down there. But she was making fertilizer out of onion peels, and I'm going to give that a try. So I'll set this to the side, and we're going to just give them a ton of this. I think they can handle it. If there's any stickers on any of the bananas, I will come through and I will peel them off. But that right there is a nice, good feeding for these red wigglers in this worm bin. So let me kind of squish the grapes without getting it in my eyes. I know, grape stem in there. Oh well, it'll figure it out. More cardboard. And something else I'm gonna do. Typically you don't see me with coffee filters, but my Keurig is, I use a filterless Keurig container that you could just put the coffee grounds in, but my mom was in town and she showed me the coffee filters that can be used. So she had given me some earlier, I stopped using them, but now I'm gonna use them until they're done and I'm gonna feed them to the worm bin. But I have just way too much coffee in here. So they are also gonna get just a lot of coffee. Not too worried about the heat because it's been cooling down here in Florida, but I just kind of need to get rid of a bunch of this. And I'm gonna add some water because this is pretty dry. So when I'm done with all of this, I'll add some water. And then this is the grit, which is just pulverized eggshells. So that's gonna do it for our feeding. I'm gonna add some more cardboard over the top just to help bury it. And then let's put this beddings from the side. That's the mango. Over the top of this, again, more mango, banana. This is the problem. I probably should have gone a little bit deeper to start the feeding zone, but I think once I add a little bit of water in here, it will help get it down a little bit. This is looking like a good feeding. And I've mentioned a couple of my other bins. If you subscribe, easy access to my playlists, and of course on YouTube, any subscription there is free. Yeah, on my channel is all the playlists for my 3 bins. You can watch my videos from start to finish castings, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope everybody's having a great day. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.